my dreams come true. Gonna fall in love with you. And you and you and you. I just wanna go cruising. I just wanna go cruising. And baby, I don't think I'll ever come back again. I just wanna go cruising. I just wanna go cruising. And baby, I don't think I'll ever come back again. Bye-bye. Because bubbles are fine. Oh, the weather's so nice. And the horizon's so bright. So I'll be sailing away for a long, 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 long time.
All right, guys, here we are. We're doing it. We're finally doing it. My name is Jake Zara, and this is my plant tour. Well, I mean, where do we even start? Where the heck do we start? I guess we'll start over here. So this is the first setup. So as you will notice along the tour, I do love the lush jungle look, but I also love a little bit of order. I love to work towards minimalism. Obviously, I am not a true minimalist, but if you look around, you can see that there's areas where it's very lush, but then there's also open spaces so that it doesn't feel too cluttered, it doesn't feel too overwhelming, and it becomes much more manageable for me. And I think just a little bit easier on the eye. So when we have plants here that are very close together and they just kind of create this display, they are bordered by these nice clean white lines. So that is my approach. So I'm just gonna stop rambling with the intro and just get into it. We have a killer variegated Philodendron burl marks, and I got this one from Plant Corner NYC, which is an amazing plant shop in Harlem, which I highly recommend. I've gotten a lot of plants from that place, and the owner is an absolute gem. And this was one of the plants that I got. She has some amazing specimens because I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't think I've ever seen a variegated burl marks look quite this good. I don't want to come off biased, but I mean, it's just given everything. Next to it, we have our first Antherium. This is a hybrid of Clarinervium and, oh God, I need to tag this stuff. It's, oh, pterodactyl. My God. So Clarinervium crossed with pterodactyl is a very varied cross. So basically, this is one version of the cross, and you can get several different looks from this hybrid, which I think is really, really cool. And it's doing well. By the way, guys, we are growing this stuff in under 30% humidity. Actually, today it's 34% humidity because it's raining outside. But I gotta say, you're gonna see a lot of Anthuriums growing without the assistance of an enclosed space. So just FYI for those of you who want to get into Anthuriums but don't want to invest in humidifiers and cabinets and grow tents and the whole shebang. Trust me, there are a lot of Anthuriums out there that are very, very hardy. Okay, and by the way, this is a suede leaf. Usually suede and velvet leaves tend to need higher humidity more. He's been doing well for months. And moving up right next to little me in preschool. Well, every day I would pose as the Statue of Liberty, and just because I don't know. They had me tested, it was inconclusive. Anyway, right next to little me is Philodendron Esmeraldans. I have it on a moss pole just so it can start to climb and get bigger. You're going to see that I have a lot of plants in a no drainage system. So they're going to be in plastic or glass jars or containers, most of them, not all of them. I find that it helps create that balance of aeration, but also a very humid environment for the roots. Guys, I could do a whole video on that, and maybe I will down the road, because that's just a whole different conversation about how I use these jars. But anyway, right here is a plant that I got that I got from my friend. And he's great. I never have to water him. He's tough as nails. I don't know what species he is, but yeah, he's just chilling there. I have a huge Rapidophora Tetrasperma that is just... This is, by the way, a full year of growth. And the top leaf right there finally put out an additional fenestration, because all the fenestrations were only four splits, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up there, put out 5. Oh, But then I think it went back to 4. You know what? Moving along, we have a Dwarf Pineapple, and it's just been doing its thing in Leca, pure Leca. And then over here we have a Philodendron Pink Princess. There's actually 2 in here. You goddamn gnat. Fuck off. You know what? Can you just stop? Listen, I'll kill you later. Over here is a cool little vintage humidity meter that my Grammy had. We cleared out her home because she recently passed away. She lived to 102 years old, people, 102. And she lived quite the fabulous life. And she had so many knickknacks from all over the world. And then up here, we have something that I literally just made last night as of recording this. This is some moss that I've been growing myself. And it's very humid in there. It's probably like 100% humidity, so I'm going to twist off the top for you. So, oh, there it is! Isn't that great? Honestly, I'm way more excited than anyone will looking at this fucking moss because I grew it myself. So it's like, oh, my little baby's giving a nice little canopy. This is Mr. Mind Your Own Fucking Business right here. This is an orchid. I don't know the species, so if you know, let me know. But oh, that is not drugs. That is like scented shit. Somebody actually on Instagram said, like, why do you have like drugs on display? It's like, no, it's like scented shit. Like listen, that smells so good. See, scented shit. Okay. Anyway, I probably shouldn't have sniffed that. Maybe it is drugs. So these are new flowers. It actually was suffering from root rot, and using a special fertilizer, I was able to save it. Unfortunately, these, you motherfucker. Unfortunately, these leaves just want to be wrinkly and ugly, so I don't know what their deal is. I mean, the moss right now is hydrated, so it's not like it's dehydrated, and it's putting out flowers. So, I mean, I don't think it's, I don't know. You know what? It is what it is. And that's me and my sister with some birds in Hawaii. All right, and then way up here, we got some more orchids. You know what? I need, sir, just excuse me. We just need this stool right here. Here is one of my mom's orchids. I'm not sure what kind it is. Pretty sure it's a Phalaenopsis, but don't know what the flowers will look like. Basically, I am trying to see if I can get an orchid to re-bloom, because all the orchids that I currently have, I bought them with the blooms. So this is a little experiment. We have this big bad boy right here. This is Antherium propinquam. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I've never heard anyone else say it. And it is a huge Antherium. For an Antherium, this one's pretty tough. Just yesterday, I actually was trying to record this and like the battery died and the memory card was full and shit just hit the fan left and right, so I wasn't able to finish it. So this, by the way, is me, like the second time me trying to record my entire apartment. But actually, you know, I always tell people that Anthuriums, like, they're virtually pest-free for me. Aside from new leaves, they really don't get pests, and I was actually shocked because I saw that these leaves had spider mite webs on them. And I washed them all off, I sprayed it with some neem oil, and yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. This is a very thin leaf, so although I'm a little surprised, I'm not that surprised because spider mites and pests in general tend to go for, I guess, thinner leaves. I don't know. Leaves that are not quite as thick, not quite as tough. Leaves that are more penetrable, I guess you could say. Oh, and by the way, yes, I grew this leaf in 30% humidity this winter. Over here we have a beautiful arching Phalaenopsis orchid that I got from Da Hing Plants in Chinatown. Another plant shop that I highly recommend. Anyone who is in the New York area, knows about that store, knows that it's great. So if you're ever in the New York City area, definitely go visit that shop as well. Oh, can you see Mr. Silver? This is Philodendron Silver Sword. I got this one from a plant shop called Foliage Garden. That is the OG one. That store has been around for over 40 years. They have a huge greenhouse nursery area, I think in Long Island, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, their store is honestly amazing. It's beautiful. Their aeroids are huge. It's just amazing. So I'm going to let this guy hang and just kind of see what he does. You are going to notice that throughout this tour, there will be quite a few hanging philodendron. I do like the look of hanging philodendron. I think it's just kind of displays the plant in a different way. Usually people put them on an ugly moss pole. So I'm just gonna let it hang because I think it still looks just as beautiful. And it's a lot more manageable when the leaves stay small, just for me personally. And yeah, kind of an awkward transition talking about keeping my plants small as we move to Jabba the fucking Hutt right here. So actually, I bought this. It was mislabeled as a Philodendron Gloriosum. And at the time, I didn't really know how to properly ID Gloriosum. I just knew that I really wanted one because I would see pictures online and stuff. So within like a few days, I was like, this isn't Gloriosum because it doesn't have a velvety leaf and the veining looks different and the color looks different. And by the way, guys, this was much smaller. I got this almost a year ago. And people online were saying, oh yeah, it's probably a Passanum. So for the longest time, I just called it my Philodendron Passanum. And after doing some research, I discovered, I'm not actually 8 feet tall, guys. Ugh. So if we look on the back of the petiole, do you see where the stem meets the leaf? Do you see those like maroon lines right there, right there? Right there. And then do you see this sketched out patterning on the stem? From what I understand, that is the tell that this is not a Gloriosum or Passanum. It is actually a cross between the two, which they call Philodendron Dean McDowell. It was named after the friend of the hybridizer. It was created in the 80s, and he had a friend named Dean McDowell who died of AIDS. It was a tribute to his friend because his friend had died of AIDS, sadly. I believe that Dean McDowell also has a red cataphyll here where the Passanum does not. I've never owned a true Passanum, so correct me if I'm wrong. This thing, I gotta say, as with most hybrids, this thing grows so freaking fast. My other Gloriosums, which you will see later on, those things grow very slowly. This thing puts out a new big leaf every 3 weeks. 3 weeks, people. And by the way, this is the tip cut of the plant because beyond this, there was like literally like twice as much plant that I had grown out last summer. So yeah, and it does this weird thing where it grows like up and out at like a 45-degree angle, but it's not a climber, it's a crawler, as you can see. So it needs to put down these roots here before I can make a chop or anything. So it's probably gonna keep growing out there until it finally starts to settle down and get its life together and put some roots down here. And then I'll be able to properly chop it because I ain't chopping this thing unless it has like actual established roots. Like those are not roots. I'm sorry. Like those need to be activated. And right next to that is Antherium Vti wide form. When you buy a Vti, you're usually buying the wide form. When you buy the narrow form, it will say narrow form and it usually is going to be a little bit more expensive. And I will show you the difference of a narrow form in just a second. Over here, nothing too crazy, just another little white Phalaenopsis orchid. And you know how you buy the orchids, guys, and they have those ugly little stakes with those ugly little hair clips and like to hold up the stem, and it's like, it's just so tacky looking, and people display them like that. So I decided to go to a store called Jamali in the Flower District on 28th Street in Manhattan. I got these like little twigs, and these twigs actually kind of help support and hold up this top-heavy stake. And it does the same thing you might have noticed with this Phalaenopsis here and this Antherium propinquam as well. It keeps those leaves kind of upright without creating an ugly stake. Because as you can see, these stakes here, they don't look that nice, guys. I'm gonna be honest. There's like lily wires and these like fuzzy wires, and it's I need to like fix this. So I decided to do that just because it looks more natural and earthy, and I think it looks great, and I've gotten a lot of compliments from it. All right, and then moving down into the Millsbow cabinet. I waited quite a few months to get this bad boy, and here we are. So I'm gonna put you back there, sir, and I'm gonna put this guy right there. So it looks like you decided to turn off my switch there. Yeah, I didn't do that. You did that. I didn't touch anything. That's all your fault, man. And look at that, you turned off my timers. So now I gotta turn these back on. And I gotta make sure I turn them back on at 8 tomorrow. And it just is a whole thing. I had shit to do at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And you just do this shit to me. So you know what? Time out for you. Just stay right there. Nothing, it's my fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a little air plant. I don't know what it is. If you know what it is, please let me know. I got this also in the flower district, and it's my first air plant. And I'm just trying it out. I dunk it in water for about an hour once a week. That's the instructions that I was given by the shop owner. And it has a little something coming out here that I was told it should be a flower. So apparently these things flower. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if it's getting the most light here, but so far it's doing well, and it looks really, it looks like an octopus. Do you see that? It looks like an octopus like swimming underwater. Do y'all see that? I think it's so cool. So before I get into anything, I want to get right to the Vti Narrow, just to kind of show you guys what I was talking about. This is Vti Narrow Form. So the narrow versus wide refers to not so much the leaf shape or the leaf length, more so the corrugation, if you will. Because as you can see, these are a lot closer together and they have a lot more of like an arch at the top. Do you see that arch? They look a lot more squished together, whereas those ribs are a lot wider and a lot further apart. So that's why this one's called wide and this one's called narrow. Oh look, it's another hanging philodendron. This is Melanochrysum. And I am just not going to get on the struggle bus with everyone else, trying to get these things to climb up a pole to get those big sexy leaves that we all see on Instagram, because this thing can be very difficult. Sometimes you let it climb for several feet and the leaves get smaller. And you're like, what is happening? So I'm gonna let this thing hang. And the reason why, I forgot to mention this before when I was talking about the silver sword, there is a Japanese grower by the name of Kunzo. Basically, he lets all of his plants hang. And he's got everything weird, wacky, and wonderful. He has philodendron, he has antherium, he has monstera, not just aeroids, he has bromeliads, he has everything and anything you could think of, and then some. Like, his plants are weird and they're wonderful and they're amazing. So yeah, he's one of my favorite people in the OG plant world for sure. And he inspired me to just like just hang my fucking plants. All right, I gotta open this up to give you guys a better look. Down here is Anthurium forgetii white stripes, and check out how dark this leaf is. And this is the leaf that I bought it with. And as you can see, this was grown in much higher light. So if you just look at the difference, you can get some seriously dark and moody foliage just by growing it in low-ish light. What else do we have? This is Antherium Waraquianum Esmeralda. I believe it's a cultivar sold by Equigenera. This guy is so much easier than this queen right here. And I'll tell you why, because look at this thing. Look at it. It's got this leaf, which I grew out. It has, hold the phone, it has this leaf over here. It's got that leaf back there, and it's got this new leaf coming in. Can we get it? Can we go around here? Come on, kids, let's go around. Look at that, and it's still growing, and that's gonna be a big fat long leaf right there. So as that leaf grows, I have to kind of move stuff around so that it doesn't hit anything. As these pendant leaves come down, you don't want them to hit anything, or else they can kind of dwarf themselves and kind of stunt their growth. But yeah, that guy is great. I have not lost one leaf, and the same cannot be said about this bitch right here. I got one fucking leaf, and then I got one leaf over there that is literally you bitch. But I have another leaf coming in right there. So my goal is to get it to hold on to 2 leaves. Like, can we do that, please? Like, come on. This is Antherium Paladiflorum. I actually found it on Etsy, and when I saw that the person was located in Connecticut, which is where I'm actually from, when I went back home to visit family, I said, hey, let me just like meet you, in a parking lot, like at Target or something. And I got the plant there rather than trying to, deal with like rehabbing it after, getting it mailed to me and all that stuff. Like, let me just pick it up. I find that people either have a great experience with this thing or a really bad experience. It's either very easy for some or very difficult for others. So for me, it was difficult in the beginning because while this was the longest leaf when I got it, all the new leaves in my care were coming out like they were like fucking themselves up. I was giving it high humidity. I was making sure it was moist, not getting dried out or anything. You know, this leaf came in kind of like curved and kind of small. But finally, guys, after, let's see, I got it in, I think, October, so, you know, like almost half a year or so as of recording this. We have this new leaf that is coming in. By the way, it has 2 growth points, which is really exciting. And this right here, I think this right here is going to flag the video. I think this is going to flag the video. Is this not safe for work? I don't know. I'm you know what? Look at the iridescence on that leaf. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And this one is still growing. This one is still floppy. So like, I think 2 days ago, it was above this glass and now it's below it. So like, it's still getting bigger, guys. That is just amazing. And then underneath is a mutt. So this is an Anthurium that I got from Scott Cohen, who does these really big plant purges. The Facebook group is Time to Splurge and Purge. He has a lot of really nice Anthuriums, and this was the first one I got from him. Oh God, I need the fucking, okay, hold on, because it literally is. So it's Antherium Black Crystallinum Magnificum. So Crystallinum crossed with Magnificum, crossed with Dorayaki. So yeah, Black Crystal Mag crossed with Dorayaki. Very thick, intense, very sparkly veination. So yeah, it's great. Did we get everything up here? Yes, we did. Okay, so moving down, this is my lovely Monstera Orea. So my yellow variegated Monstera. This is the small form. It used to have like 7-8 leaves that I grew out from a 2-leaf cutting, water cutting. I chopped it up for some trades. I got some really nice toys. So this is what I have left. This here is very interesting. This is my mystery boy. So I bought it as Antherium Papilolaminum, and it is definitely not. Most likely is a pap hybrid of sorts, or a bench hybrid, but it is very, very beautiful. It's very hard to get on camera, but there is a slightly blue iridescence to the leaves. The leaves are very gorgeous, and it has a new leaf coming in. It comes in a beautiful brassy maroon color, and when the leaves first come in, the blue is even more spectacular. This thing is growing super, super fast. Actually, I need to bump up the fertilizer because it's actually taking nutrients from the old leaves, as you can see here, to feed these new big leaves. Like, look at this one. Look how big that is. Holy shit, it's getting squished here because it's so big. But yeah, look at this guy right here. He's awesome. Who are you? He is new. Philodendron Patricii. Love it. Got it from the Equigenera pop-up in New Jersey. So got a new leaf coming in. It's small. I'm kind of like, ugh, like why can't you be big? Because I have it up this ugly moss pole because this was 2 leaves ago. This was the last leaf, so getting smaller. So I needed to start climbing again so the leaves can get nice and big like this again, and even bigger. And last thing in the cabinet is a plant that I probably geek out about the most because it's kind of a dupe, and I'm very happy that I have it. This is Antherium clarinervium crossed with Pedata radiatum. Now, that is a very common cross, and once in a blue moon, you can spawn some really wacky sport hybrids. Back in the 90s, from what I understand, there was a batch, and out of maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, I have no idea, one of them decided to display this very bizarre, very beautiful, almost triangular, almost stingray-shaped, bluish-green leaf with a very striking border around the edges. And allegedly, even from seed, you can't get the exact same plant because it is a spore entirely on its own, and it can only be shared through cuttings. So that is what makes it very rare and very coveted and very desirable. However, because these days we have so many more people in the world, especially in Indonesia, just creating hybrids left and right, we're starting to see more dupes out there, and I was able to find this really beautiful dupe. And it has basically the same shape as a true Delta Force, except it doesn't have the same bluish green color to the leaf. It has more of a rich, lighter green, has a beautiful iridescence to it, and it doesn't have the border along the edges. It honestly is amazing. And look at the tip right here. By the way, guys, the reason I bought it is because it had this leaf right here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. It's a perfect triangle. Look at it. It's totally straight across. Now, this could just be a sport leaf. Once in a while, plants will put out kind of like a wacky leaf. But as you can see, all these leaves, they are all a little bit different. None of them are exactly the same. They all have slightly different sinuses. Some of them are more bowed, more arched as they come down to a tip. Some of them are a little bit more wide. And then this one is very, very long at the tip. So the leaves are coming out in all different shapes and sizes, which I love. That's very exciting. So hopefully we'll get more delta-shaped leaves in the future. Oh, I almost forgot one final plant in this corner of the room, a Vanda Orchid. Yeah, it's not that impressive, guys. It was very cheap in comparison to how much orchids usually go for. I love the hanging roots. I think it looks very interesting. I soak it in water about once a day, and I have it under a very bright grow light there. And yeah, that kind of completes this corner right here, guys. So the lighting might be a little bit different just because I had to take a little break. I had to do some stuff, but I'm back. So it's like an hour or two later and it's getting a little bit dark out, but we shall get on to this display, which I am really enjoying right now. Not everything here is thriving, but most of the stuff is. So you know what? Let's just start at the very, very top. And you know what? I have to get excuse me, sir, just whoop. All right, so over here we have Chantinii. Oh God, this thing is not doing very well. These are all drying out. You're supposed to water it like in the base there. It's very prickly. I don't expect it to survive. So right now it's just doing its thing. And I'll probably get another one just because I love them so much. I love the way it looks. I think it offers a nice visual contrast to everything else. The magnet fucking, wait, bitch. The magnet, oh my God. Jake, I swear to God, look at this. The light just fell. It's all magnets, guys. Because it's glass. What a mess. Oh my God. Okay, this is Prague Pragmapedium? Caudanum giganteum. I'm pretty new to orchids. I'm not really an expert on orchids. I've only been getting into them last maybe month or two, but this thing, I just love it. It's furry. It's got this little pouch. What would you even call that thing? And then these like tendrils. It's just so alien. It's like something out of the Avatar movie. And those are the kind of plants that I dig. Over here, we have a Philodendron Adabapoense, which is living its best Spiritus Sancti life right here. Look at that. This thing is crazy. Apparently, when they get super mature in the wild, they lose their burgundy backs. They lose that beautiful purple, and it's like, well, shit. This is a very special Philodendron Heterasium, or a heartleaf philodendron, because it was a cutting from my late Grammy's decades-old philodendron that she had hanging in her house downstairs. I cut it maybe a couple springs ago, and like that summer, one of her caretakers had put it outside, and it got scorched. The decades-old plant, probably one of the last plants that she had in her collection, because she used to have like over 100 plants in her day, but as she got older and wasn't able to take care of them, she downsized a lot. And that was one of the last plants that she had, and she let me have some cuttings of it, and it's a nice little plant to kind of remember her by. And I love it, and it's doing really, really well. It's interesting because the tips, when I cut it, it's not growing from here. It's actually growing from, do you see that? This is coming out of that stem. Opposite it, we had a Philodendron Micans, which is growing very long and is very easygoing. All right, now onto this beautiful midsection right here. A lovely, once again, hanging Philodendron painted lady. Beautiful leaf right there. I want to see it trail down and just kind of see what it does. Over here, we have another plant that I'm training to trail. Oh, try saying that 3 times fast. I'm training to trail, I can do it. Restart. This is Philodendron Splendid. I'm sorry. It's a hybrid of Melanochrysum, which I showed you earlier, and Varicosum. I used to have a hanging one of those. I since chopped it up. I'll show you a bit of it later on. Down here in the center on this piece of driftwood, a Philodendron El Choco Red. And you might be wondering, wow, why does it have that name? I will tell you why. Because the back of the leaf is red. Apparently it was an unidentified species. It has been given an official name. It's like Rubri Juvenile or something like that. Honestly, I think El Choco Red is a way better name. Yeah, so Philodendron Rubri Juvenile / El Choco Red. It's secretly El Choco Red. Over here is probably my favorite Antherium in my collection. This is Antherium Cupulas Bathum or Cupulas Bathum. I don't really hear it pronounced very often, so I call it Cupulas Bathum, but look at this beautiful, dramatic leaf. It grows so well. I grew this leaf in low humidity, this leaf, that leaf way back there. Look at that one. And you know what's interesting? This plant has these beautiful red stems. Guys, isn't that amazing? Look at those fiery red stems. I think this is a recessive trait. Not all of them have this. I was wondering, oh, like, is it a juvenile thing? And then when it gets older, it loses the red stems, kind of like how the Atapapuense loses the burgundy back when it gets older. But no, I've seen small specimens without it, big specimens without it. I've seen big specimens with it. So I'm really happy that I have a very special type of Cupulas Bathum. I didn't have to rehab this thing at all when I got it. Anthuriums ship so well, and the ones that are non-velvet, they're basically tough as nails. Let's see. Over here we have a beautiful orchid. Just, you know, your standard Phalaenopsis that I got from Home Depot. Over here is a lovely Philodendron Linamiye. Now, up until just a few months ago, as of recording this, these were very hard to find and they were very expensive. They were always over $1,000, and now you can get them for low triple digits. Maybe by the time you're watching this, they're in the doubles. So they're coming down in value a lot, which I think is great because this is a very underhyped plant. It's beautiful. Look at that bubblegum back. A true bubblegum pink, people. Look at that. That is amazing. It will eventually harden off to all green. As you can see, it's almost totally hardened off here. There's a little bit of blush on the back. But when they first come in, they're a beautiful, like maraschino cherry red. And then when they harden off to this bubblegum pink on the back. And then the front of the leaf is a very moody, shiny maroon color. Let's see. Over here we have a lovely Philodendron Brazil that I rescued from Home Depot maybe like 2 years ago. Yeah, going on 2 years ago now. At the beginning of the pandemic, I would say. It was literally like 2-3 leaves. One of the leaves roots were dislodged from the soil. Look at it. It's crazy. And moving down to the bottom shelf here we oh, look at that. It's an inflorescence, guys. Oh yeah. Ooh, not safe for work, honey. Not safe for work. Antherium Clarinervium. And there's a new leaf coming in right there. These are great velvet suede type anthuriums that do really well in low humidity. For those of you who want to get into anthuriums, right next to it, it is not a philodendron, it's not an anthurium, but it is an aroid. And I keep forgetting the name because it's one that I'm not familiar with. The genus is Rhodospatha, and it's got this cute little canopy on top. I'm pretty sure they're climbers, but this particular specimen is very nice. It has these beautiful corrugated leaves. Gets about 500-foot candles, which is the equivalent to medium light, so it's doing well. It's doing okay. Right behind it, we have another favorite of mine. This is Antherium Recavum or Recavum. Look at this new leaf right here, people. Look how shiny that is. I believe it is in the same section as Antherium Vti, and you can definitely see the similarity. I would say it's a fairly slow grower like Antherium Vti, and when the new leaves come in, they come in this chocolate color, which I think is really awesome. And then it hardens off to like this olive green. You can see this leaf right here. And I just have some decorative twigs just to kind of give it a little bit more flair because it only has 2 leaves at the moment. And then moving right next to it, the last plant on this shelf is a variegated Monstera Deliciosa. So this is a small form. It is the album Monstera. That is the newest leaf right there. Beautiful, white, living its best life. It was growing very fast, but then when I took the top cut, which is what this is, it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. Maybe it's because it has more variegation now than the mother plant. I'm not entirely sure, but it still looks great. And it's very easygoing. Please don't buy nodes. Please don't buy unrooted cuttings. No matter how good the deal is, save your money and just get a fully rooted plant. Please, I just literally just hit you. I'm so sorry. Sir, are you okay? I'll read you a bedtime story later. Don't try to save money and get like a node or an unrooted cutting. Save your money and just get a fully established plant with good variegation. Don't get one with low variegation and hope that it pops off one day. The chances are very low. Save your money, get one with good roots, get one with good leaves and good stable variegation. Don't get that half moon crack because that will revert on you. Don't get ones that are too white because they'll get brown on you. You want ones that have a little bit of sectoral, a little bit of marbling, just like this one. This is like the ideal specimen in my not so humble opinion. All right, and that is this entire corner right here. Beautiful corner, if I do say so myself. And oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that there's Roomba right there. He cleans up after my messes when I do my planty chores. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, hello. So this right here is a very large Philodendron Gloriosum. I also got this one at Foliage Garden. Beautiful dark suede leaf with these beautiful veins. These were the leaves that came with it from wherever it was grown. They've been around, but you know what? When you go out into the jungle, you're gonna see leaves with imperfections, guys. You're gonna see leaves that have been bitten with holes in them, you know, from bugs. And you're gonna see leaves that are a little bit tattered and torn up. And that's okay because it just has some little scars here and there. And I think it adds a character to the plant. To be totally honest with you, leaves like this with like the tattered edges, I just think it just adds a little bit more character to it. Like this is a leaf that I grew in my care. If I just turn this around, I grew this one in my care. Beautiful. It's like too perfect though. You know what I'm saying? But there's actually two plants in here and there's a new leaf coming in right there. This plant was on the struggle bus for quite a while. It was actually in a terracotta pot, and Gloriosum is a plant that does not like to dry out. It likes to stay moist. So that is the key to keep these happy. Do not let them dry out too much. And among these two plants, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 growth points, if I counted it right. Not all of them have been fully activated yet, and I don't want this leaf to like bruise it. So it's like, what am I gonna do? There we go. I'm too smart for you. No self-destruction in this household. I just want to show you something really cool. I believe the plant was sold to me with this stake. It's just like a piece of driftwood or something that they use like to prop up one of the stems. But lo and behold, it was still alive. It's still alive. And I don't know what it is. Does anyone know what this is? Look at this. Isn't that cool? I have no idea what it is. What the heck is this thing? And over here we have the only plant on my windowsill. This is a bromeliad, I believe, that I got from Living with Green, which is another plant shop in the Upper East Side that I also recommend. Really nice shop, really nice owners. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Moving on to my last two big boys. So this right here is a banana tree. Banana trees are technically not true trees because they don't have bark. Also, side note, palm trees are technically not trees. They're actually grass. If you don't know, now you know. So this is a less common variety of banana. They call it the ice cream banana because apparently the bananas taste like ice cream. Apparently they taste like vanilla ice cream. The bananas also come in a bluish green color, which I think is just the bee's knees, people. And even the leaves themselves too, a very beautiful green. And in the back, if you look at the back here, it's like a frosty blue. Are you getting that? It's like kind of frosty on the back. In the wintertime, it puts out about a leaf a month. In the summertime, it puts out about a leaf every 10 days. It is such a fast grower. I got it in June 2020 when it was maybe about that big. And now look at this thing. And by the way, in the summertime, it holds more leaves than it is now, so it looks a lot more lush in the spring and summertime. Even this stem here, look, it has like this frosty blue on it. Look at that, like I'm making like finger marks on it. It's very interesting. It has like, look at that. There's like a film on it. It's such a weird tropical flair, and I love it. I think it's great. And then under here in the corner is an orange bird of paradise. Most of you who know a thing or two about birds of paradise might be like, what the hell, Jake? Why is this in a corner of a north-facing window? Literally half of a north-facing window, getting no light. By the way, guys, I water this thing every 2 months. I literally never water this thing. Why is it so big? I literally couldn't tell you. I've had this. This is the plant that I've had in my collection the longest. And the reason why I don't water it very often is because I bought it in 2012 and I got it at the airport in Hawaii. It was only about that big. I grew it out and it grew it nice and big. And I put Miracle Grow potting soil in it, and that is very, very thick and very dense, not really good for drainage. So because this soil stays moist for so long, the roots have been trained to not need water because the soil stays moist for a very long time. And actually, I don't even remember the last time I watered this. Let me just check it right now. Just check it. You know what? It's probably time to water it again. But like, there's still a little bit of moisture down there. But yeah, I mean, this thing, it shouldn't be alive, but because I've killed it, I've literally almost killed it. I'm talking like no leaves, almost killed it like 2-3 times, and it keeps coming back. So I think it's just indestructible at this point. I really do. I never take care of it. And it's just great. All right, guys, we're in the home stretch. Just hang with me, okay? So we have the final cabinet right here. Look at these dark leaves coming in. I grew this thing from a little baby about this time a year ago. This is about a year, a little less than a year's worth of growth. And it's putting out 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves. I think it has a 5th leaf coming. It would have had 6 leaves. One of the leaves snapped before it could come out, but there's a new leaf coming in there. It's not planted in here. It's literally just, look at those worms. Oh my God. And moving down into the cabinet itself, we have just a bunch of little babies. Antherium Querumalens, if I'm even saying that right. I don't know if anyone knows how to say that. This is my first leaf. Well, it's not my first leaf. It is this bad boy's first leaf growing in my care. This is how big the leaves used to be. Yeah, I approve. This is Amedrium Zippolinium, and it's just running. It wants to climb, but like, no, just figure it out. This is the top cut of my Philodendron Varicosum. I'm going to train this thing to trail, because when these things trail, they are gorgeous. This is an Asparagus Fern. And I believe this is not even a real fern. It's a climber, apparently. I didn't know that when I bought it. It's a climber, but I guess it's not a real fern, but it looks like a fern, so, you know, and it's so soft. I love it. Next to it is a Philodendron Tenue. It's got this beautiful sheen on the leaf here. It only has 1 leaf so far, but it has a new leaf coming in right there. Oh, this is Philodendron Majestic. It is Philodendron Varicosum, which is up here, crossed with Philodendron Soderoy. Well, I'm also going to train this one to trail as well. These are some little babies, Anthurium brownie eye seedlings. Down here, a lot more little brownie eye babies. Oh, and I've just been giving these things away, by the way. Just like, literally, like if I sell a plant to somebody, I literally just give them like a couple of these and say, hey, here you go, free seedlings. This is another mystery boy. This is a no ID Antherium hybrid. It was sold to me as Antherium Fort Sherman. It is obviously not a Fort Sherman by any stretch of the imagination, but it is interesting. It has a little red dot right there, kind of like an olive green color to it. And yeah, I'm just growing it out just to see what it does. It needs a little bit of water. So now we're just dubbing it for unknown. Down here is a little Antherium Silver. Oh God, Selby Silver, that's what it is. It's taking a while to grow. It has quite a few growth points down there, but it's still taking her sweet time, but that's okay. Here we have an absolute stunner. This is Antherium King of Spades. And look at how dark this leaf is coming in. Right, like everyone is into the Ace of Spades right now. People are sleeping on this King of Spades. Look at this thing. Look how the veins go down, and look how dark that leaf is. That is incredible. And to give you an idea, again, of how you can manipulate the coloration of these aeroids, this was an import leaf, and then this was the first leaf I grew in my care. Look how much darker it is. There's another leaf in my care. Look how dark it is because I'm keeping it in very low light. This grow light is not very strong. Probably underneath it gets maybe, I don't know, 300-foot candles. Pretty low light. If you put a plant on the side here, it's getting even lower light. So yeah, medium to low light at best. And coming down to the last tier, way in the corner there, it is a lady slipper orchid that lost its slipper. So she's Cinderella. And then here's something interesting. This is a golden papillolaminum. You know what? It's an acquired taste. It's not for everyone. A lot of people think that, oh, it just looks like a sick regular Antherium, but you know what? I'm just gonna let her grow out. That's what plants are all about, baby. Growing them out and seeing what they become in your care. This is Magnificum crossed with Antherium luxurians. Right here is Philodendron Ring of Fire with a new leaf coming in right there. Over here is a small form Philodendron Varicosum. So apparently there are many different types, and this is a smaller leafed variety. Right here is an Anthurium. Oh God, what the fuck? Who are you? Who are you? No, I know. Rotundistigmatum. Now you know why I didn't remember that. Okay, Rotundistigmatum. And oh, look at that new leaf. Yes, bitch, pop off. And then here is like my pride and joy. This is a Philodendron 69686. I grew this thing from a mid-cut from my mother plant that is gone. I sold it. It was really a mid-cut with a growth point. It had 3 leaves. It lost all the leaves. It was a mid-cut with a green growth point, no roots, just sitting in water all summer last year. All summer, didn't do shit. Didn't do fucking shit. And then finally, out of nowhere, the growth point decides to activate and put out a leaf. And the leaf that it put out was this one. Look at this. Look at that. That leaf. I waited so long for that leaf. And look at the little ears. It's so cute. And it's cute. And then it kept putting out leaves. And then after it put out leaves, it started to put out roots. And then I converted it to leca. And now look, I have a whole fucking plant. And I believe that is it here. Oh my God, guys. I almost forgot. I have 2 more window plants. These are the hanging ones. This is Antherium Vitarifolium right here. They feel like belts. It's literally insane. When they get mature, they just drape down. So yes. And then over here we have my one and only Hoya. This is Hoya Pupicalic Splash. And it's got new growth here, up there, and everywhere. And it's just living its best life. And finally, guys, we have the last plant. Well, it's actually not the last plant, but it's the last plant that I had to show you in my main space. The other plants are in my grow tent. This is probably my most special orchid. This was the first orchid that I ever bought. I got it in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands at the Botanical Gardens. And it is a fucking Dendronobium? That one. Yeah, that one right there. I mean, look at this thing. Look how it is so skinny. Look at this thing. Look how skinny it is down there. And look how fat it gets up there. It's spectacular. And I have it just right here in front of a painting that I got from one of my friends. So, yes, everyone. That is the end of the... Oh my God. I put him in the shower. That's why he's gone. So, yeah, guys. That's it. All right. Well, you know what? I gotta go have dinner, so have a great day, make good choices, and peace!